Moving on to the semi-skimmed now, as we work our way up the scale of wholesomeness. This one I already opened, so I'll spare you the trouble of watching me take the protective seal off. That's about right. Semi-skimmed is what I traditionally have my cereal with, so this should feel relatively normal, I suppose. It's not going to be a shock to my system, which is good, because that'll balance out the potential dangerous effects of a semi-skimmed drinker having whole and skimmed milk in the same day. Mixing it up, we can see good consistency, good distribution. The milk is a little richer, and that's really bringing out the flavors in the cereal. Also, having gone from the very end of that last bowl to the very start of this bowl, I've now noticed a tremendous disparity in the amount of Lion Bar flavor and texture between the very wet Lion cereal and the very dry, which is unfortunate, because it means that while Nestle claims to be serving you the Lion experience, it drops off quite fast throughout the bowl. And it's very crunchy and quite difficult to work through. More than 30 grams would probably be a real struggle in the morning when you don't have as much energy. I'm trying to eat this quite fast, which is causing me some difficulty actually, because of the fact that every individual piece has to meet your molars in order to be digestible. So if you're in a hurry, you have to consider that fact. If you're normally in a hurry in the morning, this might not be the best cereal for you, because it'll probably take quite some time if you're eating at high speed. It won't be easy anyway. Then again, maybe you're a high productivity individual who can deal with that kind of thing. Here, we notice the first anomalous piece of the pack. It's all stuck together. I remember as a child I was quite enthralled by shreddies that came stuck together, but this doesn't interest me so much, because I know that it's just going to be a little bit more work for my mouth to deconstruct this construction of pieces. They came apart quite easily, in fact. Upon contact with the milk, they just disperse, their sticking power goes away. This isn't an instance of the cereal pieces themselves being made as one in the machine. I expect they stuck together at the very last stages of production, which means that once you douse them in milk, they'll actually come apart quite easily. They're not fused, they're just attached. So that was pleasing to see. Then again, most cereals these days don't really have anomalies or misfits like the ones I was talking about. which brings a sort of sterility to modern day childhood that I think really removes some of the enrichment of cereal eating as a pastime. I'm noticing now that there's a lot more milk in this bowl than there was before. Maybe it's because I'm more reluctant to pick up and eat the richer semi-skimmed milk at a high speed. Or maybe it's because I've been eating faster, so I can't take a moment to savor the combination of milk and cereal, and instead I'm just going for cereal-y spoonfuls. But whatever it is, you can see that this is a lot more than I had last time. And, well, I'm not sure how I feel about it. I like semi-skimmed milk, and I like chocolate milk, but this is not chocolate milk. Perhaps if I'd been letting it sit a lot longer, as I am doing with bowl number 1, just a reminder that that's still there, it would take on a more chocolatey quality, but this is just brown milk. Alright, now we were considering delving into the worlds of gold milk, yellow milk, purple milk, and all of those other colours. But we thought in order to make it quick we would only do 3. So I'm now going to review Lion cereal with whole milk. I think this is important because quite a lot of my whole milk drinking friends have told me that one of the major advantages of whole milk is that it's better in your cereal. Whole milk tends to excel in situations where it's used in a small quantity like tea or coffee, rather than being drunk by the glass, which can be quite overwhelming. And so cereal, supposedly, is one of those situations in which whole milk is the better option. I've never personally adopted it myself, but we're about to see today what that really means. I note that this is co-op milk, not because we support co-op in any way other than any other supermarket, but because the co-op is our nearest supermarket here where we live. Well, it's the nearest one to the studio, and we were buying this on the way. That is some rich milk. Sorry about that minor indiscretion. Wasn't sure what else to do with the excess. Here we go. Whole milk. I'm not quite sure how to prepare myself for this, because whole milk is, well, it can be rather strong. I'm just going to take it slowly. Once again, I notice much more texture and flavour in the earlier bites on account of the fact that it's not yet moistened. Clearly, Lion cereal is a cereal that doesn't embrace the milk. It doesn't benefit from the milk. It benefits from being dry, which isn't the best quality for cereals. There are a lot of cereals out there like Weetabix and shredded wheat where they would be pretty much impossible to eat without the milk, which is a good quality. Well, it's not a good quality being impossible to eat, but it's a good quality for a cereal to be improved by a bit of milk, because that really allows the milk cereal symbiosis to excel. And in this case here, we have a cereal that you would want to eat with milk, but it doesn't get better when the milk absorbs into it. Alright, I think I'm preferring this whole milk thing. But once it gets to the end of the bowl, I don't know if I'm going to be so sure. I think the whole milk improves the whole experience because it balances out the richness and the crunch of the cereal in your mouth. You no longer have a fleeting milk experience which goes away after a second or so, just to leave you with a strong, thick cereal that you have to work your way through. The milk accompanies the cereal all the way through because the taste is a little bit more lingering. And that means that at no point do you feel like the cereal is your only enemy. You've got the milk to help you along. I suppose when you have a balance like this, there is no enemy. It's just a triad: the cereal, the milk, and the eater. And that's much better than being left alone to fight against a cereal that you know you can never crunch through. I'm very much enjoying the whole milk experience. I wonder also if the milk is seeping into the cereal a little less with this one. That's something we could test if we wished, but I don't want to bore you by doing multiple sogginess tests. So I suppose we'll never know. Flavor right through to the very end. Surprisingly, I was expecting to be challenged by the whole milk that was left at the bottom of the bowl, but upon eating it, I found it a joyous experience, much more so than the other two bowls I've had. Perhaps that's more a quality of the milk than the cereal itself, so I'll leave out any further comment from the review.